I'm loyal to a lot of things, but just reading one genre, not gonna happen. So if you've ever bounced from a lit fic to a fantasy to a horror to a YA book to a thriller, and you just feel like some things are missing even though you've enjoyed stories across all those genres, then reading by theme is what you may be missing. When I say theme, I'm not talking about trope. I think the word trope feels formulaic and a bit cheap in my opinion. What I'm talking about is those emotional through lines, the tension, the stakes. That could be a sci-fi crew whose mission goes sideways, a family or community just trying to get through societal collapse, a fantasy protagonist being forced into a fate that they didn't choose, or a story where the real monsters are the people. And the theme that speaks to me across all of those stories, which are across different genres and very different, is that they're about characters who have been put into these unreal, unimaginable scenarios and rise or fall to the scenario accordingly. So, Eryn, why does this matter? Knowing my themes helps me stay grounded and helps me from avoiding the hype trap. It's really about knowing what stories will likely hit for you and knowing which ones probably won't, or the ones in the middle that you can experiment with to see if you can stretch your reading appetite. So in this discovery, I have also learned what themes I don't care for. And because I've done this kind of reflection, because I've gone through this exercise, it helps me to avoid that whiplash feeling when you're crossing between genres because those stories feel very different. Switching genres keeps my reading energized. So I bounce, but I bounce with boundaries. So how does this work for you? How do you learn to stay in your lane or lanes when it comes to reading from a thematic perspective? Think about your top 5 books. They could be the top 5 books of this year, top 5 books ever. Don't worry about the genre. Just ask yourself, what about these books did you connect with emotionally? Chances are you might see a pattern. Did they all deal with grief? Maybe they had unreliable narrators. Maybe they all had found family, or maybe they had vengeance arcs, or some combination of the above. Once you see that trend, you'll be able to start putting blinders on when other books outside of those themes start circling. Now, I'm not going to say don't ever read anything outside of your strong themes. It's just having an awareness of what might hit and what you might have a little patience with. So how does this work with avoiding the hype trap? And again, nothing wrong with hype. It just means the book has found its audience. But when you know your themes, you know the core things about a story that really attracts you and you enjoy it, then you can look at the summary of books that are widely discussed, I'll say that instead of hype, and really decide if that story is going to be a good one for you. Now, my personal rule is I don't immediately add it to my TBR like I used to. There's something in the summary that makes me feel like, if I had the money right now, I would not buy this book. I take the note. I'm glad everyone's enjoying it, but I don't add it to my TBR. But later, if this book starts to organically come into my purview again, then I'm willing to take it seriously and explore it. From there, I'll go and read 3-star reviews. Now, I will tell you, I used to never do any research on my books before I read them. But 3-star reviews are gold. Really good 3-star reviews that don't spoil the books for you. People can dictate very clearly why they didn't like a book and why they did. And they are usually covering themes in those reviews. So check out a few 3-star books. If the themes align with something that you like, then great. But if they said that the themes in this book just fell flat for them, you might want to take it seriously. Because here's the truth. A lot of books sound interesting, especially when you're listening to a review about a book coming from someone who's excited about it. But does it hit for you? That's the most important thing. So in closing, being a multi-genre reader does not mean reading any and everything under the sun. It means knowing about what threads keep you interested and curating your reading experience around those themes. It's not about keeping up, it's about finding your joy in reading. And it's not to say every read is not supposed to be a 5-star read. We should all be so lucky. But if you're going to invest 8 to 10 to 14, 15 hours of your life reading a story, then making a bit of an intentional decision on how you're going to spend that time, it helps. So if you're trying to figure out what your emotional threads are, I would love to hear what you're coming up with in the comments, what themes that you have explored that you really enjoy, or which ones that you try to stay away from. And if you haven't already, go ahead and check out my unhaul video where I unhauled over 300 books, because I talk more about what brought up this lesson for me. And if you find yourself in that space where you're just like, wow, I'm reading so much, but it's just not vibing with me, then I think you'd find some connection there. So I'll see you in the next video. Happy reading.